All right, y'all, what's good? Welcome to Banz On The Beats. I'm Kriz Banz, producer, lyricist, everything above, mixing engineer. You already know what it is. I'm a musician by heart. This is my keyboard right here. So everything is put in place. Everything is good. So this studio right here. This studio right here is built from scratch, y'all. Built from scratch. Brick by brick. Well, maybe not brick by brick. Maybe like pieces of wood by pieces of wood, because there ain't no bricks over here. So if y'all ever wondered like how your favorite producer make that sound, or your favorite song that you be listening to in your car, you know, you like listening to that hot beat. If you ever wonder how that was made, you come to the right place. If you ever wonder, you know, like what did it take to put something like that together, you're in the right place. If you're new to music or you're new to producing, you want to make some hot beats, you just don't know where to get started, you're in the right place. All right. So that's what you're here for. That's what we here for. That's what I'm here for. Show y'all how I put these beats down. I've been doing this a long time. I mean, I'll go back in time and talk about, you know, like where I got started and how I got started a long time ago and things like that, but we'll say that for another episode. So whether you're here for a little bit of music, whether you're here for, you know, the experience, whether or not you're here for just the journey. So whether you're here for just the music, or you're here for the energy, or you're here for the journey, I'm gonna need y'all to set up. It's a lot of interruptions. All right, so whether or not you're here for the music, you're here for the journey, or you're here for the energy, you need to learn something new about music, we're gonna go through it all. I mean, this is my take on how producers like myself and other producers make music and put it all together. All right, so y'all get ready. Without further ado, let's go.
KB beats, so quit playing. KB beats, so quit playing.
So like I said already, you in for a surprise. You in for a nice little treat. I'm gonna show y'all how I get down with these beats. Now, everybody start their beat off with, you know, like a little bit of this or a little bit of that. They start their beat off a little bit different. Some people start their beat off with a bass, kick, snare, drum program or something like that they whip together with different sounds. They may change the beat, change the bass kick later on throughout the whole production, and you know, tailor it to the melody or something like that. Me personally, I like to make a melody first, because I feel like if you don't have a melody, then it's kind of hard for me to drop a beat like that. I can't really drop the bass kick snare without knowing what the beat sounds like or what the melody sounds like. So I usually start off with the melody, and then I may, you know, sometimes I take the bass line, go to the bass line next, and then I'll drop a beat or make the drum program. That's usually how I do it. But sometimes I always make the melody first. That's a given. But I may just drop the drums or the drum program and then the bass line. Or after the melody, I may drop the bass line and then the drums. So it depends. So when you're making a beat, it's all up to you. There's no hard rules. I like to put there's no hard rules in place. It's just a vibe. It's however you feel, you know? So if you're new to this, I'm telling you right now, you're not doing anything wrong. You just, you know, like, you're just making your beat. But there's something that distinguishes what the pros do from what amateurs do. And always you have to get in one place before you get to another. So let's just, keep it at that. We'll dig into that a little bit more later. But for right now, let me let y'all experience what I'm talking about right now. We're gonna start off with a little melody, right? So say for instance, you get in the studio and you just like, man, like, where should I start this beat off, or how should I start this beat? And it's kind of hard to say where you should actually start the beat, but I do know it start with how you feel. Like if you feeling like something riled up, you like in the club, or if you feel like something more laid back, chill, if you feeling that way, that will be the best beat to make. So I would say assess how you feel first, like going through it with your girl, or you going through something, or I feel like you should channel that energy, just like a lot of writers do, a lot of rappers, or if you write, if you sing, you channel energy from things that you're doing in your day-to-day life, in your day-to-day world. So whatever you do, you can channel that into music. That's why it's expressive the way it is, because when you listen to it, it's coming from whoever made it in a raw fashion, so raw that you can't do nothing but relate to it. So it's all about how you think about it first. So when I sit down and make a beat, I don't make a beat I'm feeling a certain way, and then I don't sit and make a beat about something happy if I'm not feeling that way. I channel my energy into my music. So all right, with that being said, let's dive into something. So sometimes I like to start off just like, just playing around with the keys a little bit. Let me see what I got pulled up over here. Hold on. Okay, so for this beat right here, I have some synths. So basically these are some vibes, some synth vibe roads, and I like to use those to get like a melodic feel. So I may play something and just to get that melodic feel to it. So let me let y'all hear that, how that sound real quick. All right, so let me see here. All right, I like that sound, but when I'm making a beat, I'm looking for that melodic feel for this particular beat, and this is the melody that I play with that right there. So it go. Then it just repeat. But that's not it. So I added some things to it. So if you understand your chords, then you'll understand what sounds sound good together. So like I said, this is not gonna be a let me teach you how to play a piano type of session. But I will go over this fact a little bit. Knowing your chords and learning how to do a chord progression will help you come up with better ideas for your beats in the future and in the long run. So right here, it's a B minor. It's a B minor right here. And so I'm looking for sounds that sound good in B minor, because that is the note that my song is in. I want to start my song off in a B minor, like this. And then I quickly go over here. As you can see, that's a C major. All right. And so, like I said, again, we're not going over all of the keys and things like that. But in order to understand what I'm saying, I'll go over maybe just an A major. So scales. This is an A major scale. Okay, so that's an A major scale. So it includes the A, B, and then all the successive notes after. So when you think about a scale, there's going to be chords that sound good in that scale. They go together. They sound good together. So in A, you may have that note, that chord, that chord, that chord, that chord. Again, this is going to be a diminished, and then we make it back to A. All right. So what you just witnessed is basically I'm playing a A major scale, but all of the chords that sound good in a major scale. All right. Now, from there, basically you can just produce any type of beat in your bass line. Your bass line will follow a similar pattern, or it can step outside of the pattern a little bit just to add some flair to it. But what I'm saying is you got to be able to follow that scale with those chords and then develop chord progressions. All right, so back to the beat that I'm making. So I played this part first. Now you hear how they all go together, they all sound good together. But I also added something to that. Then it just repeat. All right. And this is how it sound from the recording that I made on track 1. All right. So y'all hear that? It's kind of like a melodic feel. I chose that sound because it got like the melodic feel that I'm looking for. And but you don't just stop there. You got to layer that. And you don't have to layer it with the exact same pattern. You can use different notes in that pattern. And then only highlight those. So say for instance, I use some pads and I chose this sound here. You hear that sound? I chose this sound because I think it complements the other sound really well. I'll let you hear them both at the same time in a second, but what I'm saying right now is they complement each other. You got to understand that. And once you understand that they complement each other, then you can add sounds. You can't just add sounds haphazardly or just all willy-nilly. You can't just add sounds. You got to make sure that they sound good together to create the sound you're looking for that you have in your head. Or if you're just experimenting, you still have to make sure that the sound cohesive. So this is a compliment to the melody that I just played. Now notice I didn't play all of the sounds, all of the notes that you heard on the original melody. I just played a few. Now, with that being said, let's move on to the third sound. Now, I'm just layering. I'm tracking. You wouldn't call this layering. I'm adding sounds to the original melody to give it the feel that I like. And so these are here, let me play both of those together. Notice how they sound good together. You got the pads, and then you have the Rhodes. But the Rhodes go with the left hand. I'm playing something completely different. All right, so I'm giving it a melody. I'm giving it a direction. All right. And another thing that's important is your tempo. You got to make sure you on tempo. We'll cover tempos in another episode, but right now we're just getting into the bulk of it. All right. So now that is the first two tracks. Let's throw another track in there. So anybody who know me, back in the day they used to call me Flawless. Anybody who know me, shout out to the West Side, Waukegan. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know who I am. So what's up with you? But anybody who know who I am know that I love strings. The strings, I feel like they settle, they sit in the back, they do what they're supposed to do. They add that vibrance subtly, but they can also be right up and close in your face. And like, I don't know if y'all remember that old Mike Jones track. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot, they all on me. Like dun, 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 dun. That boom boom dun, 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 dun. Like boom dun, 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 dun. That hit. And so you can use your strings in different ways, but I like to bring that subtleness to it, but also it fills up the melody where I need it. Now I won't start it off in this track exactly how the rest of the melody go, but I'll bring it in as like a tail to complement the original melody. So it's gonna basically follow the original melody, but then add that vibrance to it and fill it up a little bit. So again, I might play the same keys, but just not all of them. And that's it. But when you hear it in the song, when I play it with these three tracks all unmuted and just these three tracks playing together, you will hear it doesn't fall at the same time that the other tracks fall. It doesn't hit at the same times that the other notes hit. It hits later. So pay attention. You hear it come? Here it is. All right. So I got that. All right, those are three tracks right there. And you may think, okay, all right, well, we got something, we working with something. That's cool. We got a melody, we got a nice little melody. But the problem is with that is there's something missing. Something is missing. What's missing? A lead. You're missing the lead. So there's something that needs to drive the song, move the song along, and like give it a footing, a grounding. When you listening to it, you're like, okay, that's that noise you looking. That's the sound you're looking for, the right element that you're looking for, and that is the lead. So in the lead, I chose something to stand out. I'm using a Fabric plugin. Not sure if y'all can see my MPC X right here, but I'm using a Fabric plugin. It's called this particular sound is called Tower of Power. I don't know why they named it that, but basically it's just a synth, and it's kind of raspy, but it hits hard. This is how it sounds. All right. All right, and so I took that sound and I did a lot to it. So one of the main things you got to realize is there is no one way to do things, but consistently, when you listening to music, you hear trends and you know what sounds good and what doesn't. And typically you don't really hear the stuff that don't sound good because you listening to mainstream radio, you listening to mainstream music. When you listen to albums, you may hear a variety of different things, but those songs are going through processes. They going through, hey, look, we wrote this, we like this beat, we don't really like this beat. And you got to remember, music is subjective. So what what you like, another person may not like, but I'm telling you right now, there is a group of sounds, and it's not a finite, it's not a like a set amount of sounds that you can use. You can use any sound you like, but it's just what sounds popular in that genre of music. So you want to pick your sounds carefully. And depending on how you play that, it can sound stupid or it can sound hot. And so let me see. How did I play that? Wait, how did I play it? Wait, how did I? Hold on. All right. So that's crazy right there. Anyway, I came up with that because I felt like it hit the spot when with it got that like that feeling. You know that feeling that you feel when you're making music. You just like, that's it right there. That's nice right there. Anyway, I stayed along the same pattern and along the same keys that I used in the scale. Just remember that. So I made my lead with similar notes that I made my original melody. My original melody, again, was B, D, and F sharp, which is basically a B minor. This is a B minor. And then if you listen, my notes fall along that B minor scale. That last little part right there where I go, that's just to bridge everything. So I know everybody make the music differently, but that's how I make things bridge over. Sometimes that's that. I put that flawless touch on it. So this is how all 4 of those tracks sound together, right here. And obviously, you wouldn't play the lead through the whole song. You know, we'll get into mixing later, but you get where I'm going with that. All right, y'all hear it? Y'all hear how it dropped? All right, so now it's coming together. Sometimes in a track, what I do is I do a variation of the lead. Just like a different version of the lead that you only hear one time in the song. So have you ever been listening to a song and, you know, your favorite singer or they say a certain part at a specific time or say a certain part in the song and you just like, dang. Like, that's that note. You waiting for your part. You know, when you in your car, you singing that same song, you waiting for your part. You waiting for that part to come up because you like that song. It could be a solo. It could be a guitar solo. It could be a part of the song where you hitting a high note or something. Whatever it is that part. It only happens once. It makes you come back. The premise of it is, and the logic is that it makes you come back to the song when you're done listening to it, because that's the only part of the song that's not repetitive. It comes back. It doesn't come back at all, which means you come back. You come back to the song to make the song play again, and then you listen to the whole song anticipating that one part. That's how they get you in. You got to create that in your own music when you're making it. That's the sauce. That's what you're looking for. And so this variation of the lead is what I made. Let me mute the other part, mute track 4, and then unmute track 5 while I did a variation to track 4, which is the lead. Remember all right. So here's a variation to that. I'm gonna solo it out, actually. Let me solo it out. That's it. Now you may be like, okay, well, what? So what does that do? Well, like I said, when you play that part, when you mixing, you include that part only in one part of the song. And the way it sound like the ending of the song. So I'll include that at the end of the track and make it only hit once, and then keep you coming back because you want to hear it again. All right, and now let's uh, talk about the bass line. Because like I said before, sometimes I do the bass line and then I do the bass, the drum program. But sometimes I do the drum program and then the bass line if I'm really not feeling what bass line can go with this. In this instance, I did the bass line first. So I like punchy bass lines. You got to be real careful when you use your bass when you're doing bass lines because you don't want it too boomy. Bass kicks and bass lines both take up the same frequency. So that's left up to your music engineer to kind of like, balance out the frequency ranges and make space for one another and glue them together. But it's kind of hard to do that if you don't pick the right sounds to begin with. And picking the sounds is the beginning. Because why would you want to fix something that can be later that you can, fix now or that you can avoid now? And so that's typically how I pick my bass lines. So bass line, let me unmute this one here and just play a little bit for you. So again, we're going along the same type of scale. Always remember that. Also, one more point that I like to make with the melody itself. The melody, I got about 3 sounds. I got the Rhodes, I have the Rhodes, I have the strings. Well, that's not the second track, but I have the Rhodes, and then I have the synths as the second track, and then the third track is the strings. After I put those together, obviously they're not leveled yet, and that's in mixing. We'll get to mixing later. But when we glue all of those things together using, our techniques in mixing, it all sounds like one instrument. and you listening to a song and you like, man, I want to make something like that. You can't make you're not gonna find one sound that sounds like 3 sounds put together that just sounds cohesive together. You wondering where those sounds come from, and they came from 3 different sounds or 4 different sounds or 5 different sounds that have been glued together and put together in such a way and then mixed and then mastered. Especially if you're listening to some really high quality music, like that's the industry standard music. If you're listening to that type of music, then you hear the sounds glued together. We won't be doing any mastering here, but just know that's what's happening when you listening to a song and you trying to figure out, man, I want what pack can I get to make my music sound like that? What instrument, what new like add-on can I put in to get my music to sound like that? Well, you won't find a single sound that sounds exactly like that. You're gonna think that they all come from one sound, but they're not. They're gonna come from different sounds that's been glued together, modulated, and quite honestly processed. And it's okay. We getting there. But anyway, here go the bass line. That's not how you play this specific song, but I'm just letting you hear how it sounds. You see, it got a punchy sound. When I press it, it presses. When I stop it, or when I let up on the key, it goes away. So it has little to no sustain on it. All right. And I need that because I need it to punch through. It also has this little dip when you listen to it. Now I'm using the Sub Factory for this one. This is on the MPC X, and shout out to the Sub Factory. All right, y'all hear that? All right, so let me solo the bass line, and I don't want to glaze over the bass line at all. I'm gonna tell you something right now. The bass line is the single most important part of your song. It drives the beat. It drives where you're gonna write your lyrics. It bridges the melody and the drum program. It bridges them together. There's the melody, there's the drum program. What brings those together? Bass line. Here's the bass line. Soloed out. All right, y'all get it? Okay, so you hear how it drop. You hear it? That's how the bass lines go. And again, you got to be real careful when you're picking your bass line so it can pierce through the melody, pierce through, and have frequency space when you add in the bass kick and snare. Now, let's play all well, I won't play the alternative lead, but I'll play tracks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. All right. Yeah. 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 You hear it? You see, I got that, it got that vibe to it now. Now you got a vibe. Now it's easy to drop that drum pattern now. It's easy because you already hear where the drops could be. You already hear where you can go with it. But let me tell you something about your drum pattern. It needs to be rhythmic. You need to make it rhythmic. That's where people who are, on the dance floor, or that's where they feeling the rhythm at. Tell me what you think about this rhythm. Yeah. Yeah. Now I know y'all hear that. That's that classic Trillville bed squeak. Y'all hear that. But the point of it is that it has to be rhythmic. Now this, you may not have noticed that squeaky bed noise. Yeah, you probably heard that before, and you probably heard that clearly in the beat. But what you didn't hear was this right here. And that specific rhythm is very important. This is it's an instrument that's used typically in Latin music, and it's called the clave, and it's usually a 2-3 pattern or 3-2 pattern, typically a 2-3 pattern, and it's played correctly in this song if you listen to it in the background. Here it go again. So it go. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Man, it's the sauce. I'm trying to tell you. That playing in the background in that 2-3 pattern like that, you may not necessarily like hear it, but you feel it. You feel the rhythm of it. You see what I'm saying? You feel the rhythm of that sound. Like when you listen to some music and you know the lyrics by heart, you may not necessarily be listening to every sound in there. That's because that's not how music work. Music work to make it gets to your body and you move to it. And so that's one of the rhythms that you don't even know why you moving like that. And you like, I like that because it has a rhythm, because it has a consistent rhythm that's familiar to you and it sounds good to you. So moving from there, you will have to make sure your snares are popping. Snares gotta pop. I added some claps to this. Finger claps. Finger snaps. Basically a little reverb on that. Hi-hats, open hi-hats, and then my bass kick. You can mix those up however you like. Make sure that your bass kick and your bass line fit together. Like I said, they're gonna fight for the frequencies when you're mixing. All right, now let's wrap this up, play it all together. I'm gonna do a little live mix for y'all, and you just vibe out to it. Let's just vibe out a little bit. Let's do it like this.
KB beats, so quit playing.
Let's go. Let's go. Yeah. All right, so this one I'm gonna bring that there go my lead right there. Y'all got it? Perfect. Now let's break it down. Let's bring that lead back in. Yeah. Here we go. Hey, what would y'all write to this? What you gonna write to this? You gotta make it hot though. For real, you gotta make it hot. It's one of them Kriz Banz exclusives, all right? And welcome to the channel, y'all. Welcome. All right, and you remember that one part I was telling you about? You remember that little addition? Let's turn that on. Here you go. Yeah. Bring it back. All right. So, y'all already know what time it is. That beat go hard. What you gonna do to it? Let me know what you think in the comments, y'all. All right. Bet them up. Y'all already see what we doing in the studio. So that's the first beat. That's the first episode. Thank you for joining me in this beat making exclusive backstage pass, like to a nice little beat that we made, breakdown of it. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully you can apply it to the beats that you making. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think, and tell me what you think can change, or tell me, some difficulties that you may have had with your beats, or how you make yours, how you start off making yours. All of that is welcome. It's a community of musicians, so ain't nobody hating, don't hate. Just, enjoy the music. This is coming from one creative mind to another, and we just doing our thing. Leave your comments below, like, subscribe for more. It's your boy Kriz Banz, Banz on the Beats.
KB beats, so quit playing.